Ready to redefine your talent strategy? Let's make Redefine the word of the year for your success. Introducing RAS, Recruitment as a Service. Outsource your talent strategy with the O'Connor Group. Our four-tiered approach is crafted to align with your business, whether you're launching a startup or leading a thriving corporation. Our cost-effective solutions are designed to elevate your business and enhance your people strategy, ensuring scalability and strategic growth. Redefine your recruitment strategy with RAS.
Hey everybody, welcome back. This is Marcia O'Connor, and I am your host today for Shadow Her podcast. You know, shadowher.org has been around almost 2 years now, and we're looking for some more mentors and mentees out there. So if you're interested in getting involved in helping women entrepreneurs get to the next level on their operations, just follow us on shadowher.org. Today, I have a wonderful friend and a guest. So as you know, we try to really showcase a lot of rock star female entrepreneurs out there and their journey, where they came from, where they're going. And today is, again, no exception. So Shana Steigerwalt basically is an amazing lady, good friend of mine. She is the CEO of Modern Driven Media. And she's going to talk about her journey today. So, Shana, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're very welcome. It's always good to see you.
So good to see you.
You always look perfect every time I see you. So I don't know what you do, but it's like a magic spill that you have. So God bless you.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So let's go back. And you started this company. Why did you start it? Like, what was going in your head when you said, I'm going to start my own company?
Yeah. So I was the accidental entrepreneur. So it was, I was young. I was 22 years old. Right out of college, I was working in the casino industry. I had worked in the radio industry for a little bit during college. And I was approached by my father and his business partner. And basically, they were looking for social media help for their business. And they weren't offering any of this to me. They were just asking the questions, hey, we know nothing about this. So if we hire someone, we don't want, the sheet pulled over our head and, not hire the right person. So what should we look for? What should we listen for? And I took that as an opportunity and said, well, I could do this. And then we could do this for more businesses beyond just the one that we're talking about. And that was how the business first came up. So I said it was one of the most, it was one of the bravest things I felt like I had ever done. It was people that I was close to, but I said, we need to do something about this, and I know I'm capable of doing it. So from there, that's how the agency started, and we've gone through a ton of iterations of what this agency looked like, and it's evolved so much, but it's now what it is today. We're going into 9 years in April.
Congratulations.
Thank
That's
you.
so exciting.
Yes.
And now let's go back to 22 years old. Okay.
Yes.
I don't know about you and most people out there at 22 years old. I think that we were always at the idea of, entrepreneurship in my world was never even a cool word, and here you are thinking like, well, I could do this for other people as well. What made you think that you could do it? And obviously there was magic sauce in there to be able to be here for 9 years. What was that?
You know what? I had that, being how I grew up, growing up with technology, I had that edge just because of my age, which I said, why don't I take advantage of this?
Yep.
And I enjoy talking to people. I enjoy solving problems. So it's just become a little bit natural when I can take that, do it into something that can help other businesses.
Yep.
And I had great mentors around me too. So between my father, between my partners at the time, I was able to learn a lot from them. But I think back now and it's like, 9 years. I feel like the first 5 years, I had no idea what I was doing. It was a lot of testing. I learned very quickly from the things that, didn't work in my favor because I didn't want to go through, the painful lessons again or different things like that. But
totally
it's just finding the confidence in yourself because of the skill sets. And it was that determination that I'll figure it out if I don't know how to do it now, that got us to where we were until we brought on skill sets that had their own talents and things along those lines.
Yeah, it's crazy how that works. And I think that's a big thing you just mentioned. It's those first 5 years that you're testing it. You're figuring out what's working, what's sticking, what's not sticking. And you mentioned too, like your company has changed over a few times of where it started from. So give me an example how that happened.
Sure. So I would say to start, we were doing a lot social media focused. So not only was it the service that we were looking for, we also started specifically in the automotive industry because I had connections through that. I grew up in the industry. I knew how to talk the talk, if you will. And we were really focusing on doing social media, high volume, low touch. And it kind of went against everything that I thought in the creative service, where I was like, oh, we can't rinse and repeat this. We got to do something new. We got to do something fresh. I've seen a lot of other companies within that space in particular that were tech companies that then just started doing social media. And it was just everybody got the same post, and I hated that. So we switched that probably with that after the first year, but then it really just evolved the business. So now we have way more content marketing services, we have design and development services, but then we also in the past 4 years built a technical part of our team, which has actually been a catalyst to our growth, which focuses on CRM implementation. So it helps us do our job well. It helps our customers have more visibility. And overall, that gives us a much stronger partnership.
Is that why you are basically work so much with HubSpot?
Yes. Yep. So we started that just because we needed something. We needed our own CRM, ended up loving the tool, starting to talk and refer it to some of our customers because they were having some of the same troubles. And then realized, wow, there's really a market here and we understand how to do it. Let's go beyond just the marketing because marketing needs to then move into the sales of your business and then it needs to move into the customer service and we can handle all that communication. We just need a platform that allows us to do it all in one space.
So you've seen over 9 years, social media has definitely changed so much, in regards to small business. What would you say the top 3 things a small business needs to do and spend the money on, especially in the first 5 years?
Ooh, for social media or just in general?
I would say basically, no, around social media.
Around social media. First thing would be don't feel you need to be everywhere. I feel like that's a very big misconception. Figure out where your audience is, do that platform very well. Consistency. That's going to be something else. It's so easy to go on and off. And, if you don't have that consistency, you're never going to be able to build the brand. You're never going to be able to build the authority.
I agree. Mm-hmm.
And then don't be afraid to advertise, but keep in mind, it shouldn't just be selling.
Yep.
You should be providing value. And it's that whole inbound methodology that you're trying to provide value. You're trying to build that trust before you're ever selling anything. And a social platform means you need to be in a social type of environment. So if it's just a sales pitch and it's an interruption, it's never going to land well. But if you're really building up that trust and building up the, education and providing that value, that's what's going to really help build those relationships to then move into a sales opportunity.
Yeah, I think the value is a big piece. I think people forget about that because they'll sell your product all the time, but people want to buy what's pain, so if you can, cure that pain, you'll have sales forever, kind of a deal. But I think sometimes it takes a little bit longer for most people to realize that.
Absolutely. And the other thing is when you're on social media, if you're on Google and people are advertising on Google, they're searching for something, right? So you can get them when they're in market for what their searches are, what they're looking to buy. Social media, people are looking at their friends and family and finding inspiration. So if you are very intrusive into that safe space, if you will, you're not going to see any results from it. So it has to be something that's providing value, capturing their attention, not just something that's looking to generate a sale.
That's awesome. And then let's go back to basics of your company. How long were you working and having your company before you hired your first full-time employee?
We were right under a year before I hired my first full-time employee.
That's great.
So it was interesting, and everybody was wearing all different hats at once.
Oh, yeah.
And we were sitting at a long table where we just had 2 computers back to back, and we would peek around and say hello. And it was great. And since then, my first ever employee, Becky, she's moved on to a huge agency in New York. I keep in contact with her. She's freelance for us. And it's just one of those things where it's amazing. I was at her wedding 2 years ago. She has 2 beautiful children. And it's amazing to see the people who started with you and watching them grow into something more.
Oh, yeah.
And then being able to keep in contact with them and, still have that relationship. I think that's the beauty of a small business. And it's the beauty of, being able to work together for a common goal that even when it no longer serves both of you and the goals that you have in the future, that you're still able to, keep that bond, which is awesome.
Crazy, isn't it? And I had so many people over the years, so many people. People either love consulting or they don't.
Yep.
And I totally respect that. But we've got such a great alumni group now.
Yes.
So we have like alumni reunions, and it's really cool, like college, but it's all my old TOC years, and it's really cute how they all like still talk to each other and they all hang out with each other. Gotta love it.
And you know what? It's funny because I say the same thing. There's some people who get into agency and they hate it, right? They'd rather be working on one brand, internal. And I totally get that. And that's one of the big conversations that we have, in our interview process, just to talk through it and what their experience is like. And it's great. It's Inbound for us, which is HubSpot's annual conference, is always like a great reuniting, with all different team members who are still in the space. And, it's wonderful when you are still able to have those relationships post, them working for you, because that just goes to, show the testament of, what your culture's like. And that's the most important thing.
Oh my gosh. Well, one of the things that you just started was basically you restarted a group in the area. And you want to talk more about that?
Yes. So we we took over the Philly HubSpot user group, which is really exciting. So I had spoken on a panel for it in the past. I had attended a lot of the events, but just recently, with COVID and everything, the group kind of died down and nobody restarted it. So we just rebuilt it in the Philly area, where we're doing in-person events, but also webinars, which is really great. So especially for any of our local team, being able to get together in person. And then having some of our team from all over. We have, people in different states now, that it gives them a reason to come back to Philly.
Oh my God, I love that. And how do people get involved with that?
So everything's online. You can look at it through LinkedIn. And we have a group. Just go on to HubSpot's events page, search for Philadelphia, and you'll be able to see all the events that we have lined up.
That is so cool. And then I think we're going to, on our next take here, we're going to basically, as soon as we come back from break, we're going to talk about your journey, and not only your journey, but like how do you stay on top of everything by being a CEO, especially being a female CEO, which is not easy. So with that, we'll be right back, and you're here with Marcia O'Connor and Shana Steigerwalt, and we are here with Shadow Her podcast. Stay tuned.
Ready to redefine your talent strategy? Let's make Redefine the word of the year for your success. Introducing RAS, Recruitment as a Service. Outsource your talent strategy with the O'Connor Group. Our four-tiered approach is crafted to align with your business, whether you're launching a startup or leading a thriving corporation. Our cost-effective solutions are designed to elevate your business and enhance your people strategy, ensuring scalability and strategic growth. Redefine your recruitment strategy with RAS.
And we are back, everybody. This is Marcia O'Connor. I am your host today with Shadow Her podcast, and I'm here with Shana Steigerwalt. And again, she is with Modern Driven Media. She is the CEO. And now we're going to talk, really just turn it around as to like how you stay focused. What kind of groups are you involved in? The CEO is a very lonely spot. So how do you keep yourself motivated?
Absolutely. One, I think it's finding discipline in your day-to-day. That's actually one thing that's a big goal of mine even this year. Finding that discipline, finding your routine, finding your habits. One habit that I'm really working on is like my after work routine, which is something that, I have a very good morning routine, keeps me focused, but sometimes, especially I think COVID really, influenced this a lot. There's times where it's like you're on the computer until you go to bed and you're not productive at that point, right? So figuring out what's going to get you out of the office, what's going to motivate yourself and different things along those lines, and just staying disciplined with that and not feeling guilty. I feel like there was a ton of guilt early on in my career where it's, if I was doing something else, I could have been working on the business for that, but it all serves a purpose. And, I'm in organizations. So EO is how we got connected. Yep. Well, actually, no, I was connected to EO from you, but we had worked together before that. But EO, I have my business coach who lives down in Nashville, and it's the accountability that I've been able to find throughout both of these organizations. I think EO, talking about that whole idea with, having that guilt and like realizing you need to take care of yourself personally before you're ever going to be valuable in the business. EO's really taught me a lot of that as you talk about like the different pillars in your life and how it all comes together.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that's been so eye-opening, and it's been, great because it's not as lonely, and you can have those vulnerable conversations, and you can, really just rely on people to share their experiences, not tell you what to do, but just give you like honest, valuable feedback, which is great.
Which is so great because sometimes you don't get it. I mean, I know you want it from your own team, but they look at those 3 letters, that CEO, and sometimes I'm wondering, like, are you really being truthful with me?
Yes.
Where is your forum typically? An EO. For those of you who don't know, EO is Entrepreneurs Organization. It's an international group, about 17,000 CEOs, and you need to have $1 million or more in revenue to be partaking of it. But it's definitely something that I've been involved with since 2016. And then once you find your Goombas, I would say it's really pretty amazing. And we have a women's chat, and the women's stuff I'm trying to do, women's initiatives as well. But it's so cool to see all that. You know what I mean? But it helps me out so much. Absolutely. And then you also have this retreat you go to in Tennessee every year. Tell us more about that.
So I had connected with my business coach. It was actually a friend of mine. I had gone to a wedding and met. It's so interesting. It's like the 6 degrees of separation, right? So had met someone who said, "Oh, you remind me of someone I used to work with a lot. I would love to connect you." And this was back in October of 2019, so right before the pandemic hit. And Hannah, who's my business coach, Hannah Paramore Breen, she owned an agency down in Nashville. Digital, was right on the cutting edge, owned it for 15 years before she sold it. And then she, was working with a few other female business owners in the agency and marketing space. So we had gotten connected, and it was actually one of the biggest learning opportunities for me as I grew the agency. We had talked in October. She was asking some of the difficult questions that I was almost embarrassed. I felt like I should know them as a CEO and as the owner of my business. And I felt like I should have been confident in some of the things that she was asking me. And I was a little lost. And this was at like the shift in our business where it wasn't just me working, in the business. It was me working on the business.
Yep.
And she was like, "Well, listen, if I can ever be of assistance to you, let me know." And I kind of sat on it for like 6 months. COVID hits, everybody's kind of spiraling, not knowing what to do, especially in the marketing industry. Marketing's typically the first thing to get cut.
Yep.
And I reached back out in, like April or May, and I just said, "I need help." And she goes, "Listen, read this book. Give me a call next week. Let's just talk through it. And if we're kind of aligned on our vision, then like I would be happy to work with you." And so, gosh, we're going on 4 years, almost 4 years now that we've been working together. And she's introduced me to so many other great women agency owners, which has been really, really important. But she's really helped me get comfortable in the business. She's helped me get comfortable in my partnership and kind of given me, at the point in time, my partners were my mentors, but sometimes there's conflicts of interest there.
Yeah.
And so I felt like I had someone I could go to and really ask the questions, not be embarrassed about them. But that took me a little bit to get beyond. And I think if I would have been confident in asking for help earlier on, I think I would have been even further in the business now.
So the big question is, what was the name of the book?
So it was, oh my gosh, what was it? So she wrote it, and it was The Hardships, the Troubles, of Agency Life. And that's going to be so terrible that I don't remember the name of the book, but I'll have to follow up with you. But it was her journey, and it was all of the struggles that she had gone through, but it was the mindset that you were in, the mindset of giving up, the mindset that you're not good enough, the mindset that, all of this competition, and it just resonated so much to the point where I was like next to tears. I'm like, wow, I'm not the only person going through this, and I thought I'm just my own worst enemy and I'm not good enough to do this and I should know these answers and I don't. And, I don't know where to go and I need to kind of fake it till I make it in a way, when really it's like you let yourself be vulnerable, you ask the questions, and that's why they say there are no dumb questions. And just being able to work with her, I got so much more comfortable in my numbers. I got comfortable in the direction that I wanted to go. I got comfortable in the team that we needed to create, and
awesome.
it was really great. So every October, November, we go out to Nashville. We go about like an hour outside of the city, and there's a retreat place that she used to take her team. And it's a few of us agency owners that bunker down, and we've become such good friends over the years. And we're all in slightly different spaces too. So like I'm the only agency that does HubSpot. There's a PR agency in the faith-based space. There's a PR agency just in the local Nashville region. So, we're not in competition with one another, but we have very similar struggles. Just as, you find that over all businesses, but then especially when it comes to like agency service work, it's been great. So
that's awesome. But you need something to look forward to like that. And you can actually make friends with your competitors out there.
Yes, absolutely. And these are the people that like I can call any time of day, any day of the week, and they're just a listening ear, which is so nice.
So nice. And it's such a wonderful thing to see that you have other people out there knowing and going through what you've been through.
Yes.
And that alone makes you just feel like I'm not alone. That's a big deal for an CEO to say.
Absolutely.
It's pretty crazy. And then I know that you are very passionate about giving back and helping others. And in one organization in particular, breastcancer.org is very special to your heart. Why is that?
So my mother was diagnosed with breast cancer in 2013. 2013. And I watched her struggle. She wasn't planning on telling me. I just happened to be there the days that she got the call. It was a quick process. She went through the double mastectomy. Luckily, she didn't have to go through chemo or radiation, but everything happened so fast. So after I graduated and after I started the business, I said, I really want to do something. And I have a friend who also owns an agency in the Philly space. Our birthdays are end of September. And the one year he was like, oh, we should do something for our birthdays. And I was like, you know what? We should do something like important, something good. And so we decided, hey, it's coming up right at the start of, Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Let's do a gala. And so we started the gala. This year was our 7th year, so we're going into our 8th year this year. Breast Cancer Gala, we call it Tata for now, and we partner with breastcancer.org. So it's nice. It's a lot of young professionals that come out. We've really expanded over the years, but it's crazy to see just how many people have been impacted by breast cancer. Sometimes it's common, but until it hits you, it becomes so real. And I watched my mother go through it. I watched my aunt go through it. I watched two of my best friends' moms go through it. And then just recently, my business coach, she went through it. And I was down in Nashville over the summer helping her with her radiation appointments.
Wow.
And it's crazy to see how common it is, but it's so nice to be able to feel like you're making a difference.
Yes.
Even in the slightest way. And, this year was really, really special at our last gala because it was my mom's 10-year anniversary.
Wow.
So I have my mom and dad there every year. My sister comes out every year. So, in giving the speech of why we do what we do, and I'm like getting teared up just thinking about it right now, she always said the hardest part about it was she knew that we were all there. My family's very, very close, but she was like, you don't understand what I'm going through, so I don't know how to talk about it. And one of the things that breastcancer.org does is they have an online community, all the most up-to-date information, but they also provide you a community of people that are going through it in the same diagnosis and, at the same stage. And you find that community where you can talk to people because they know exactly what it is that you're going through,
Absolutely.
not people that want to be there for you but can't relate, And thankfully they can't relate, right? But that's the reason that we decided to partner with breastcancer.org. Plus they're local to the area, which is always so nice. But it's not just building awareness, which is very, very important. This is something that's helping people that are diagnosed with it right now better manage, how they handle it and how their families handle it and how their support systems handle it, which is so important.
So when is the date for this year's program?
So we are looking at the first weekend in October, Friday. So whatever that date is. So we should have everything finalized, hopefully within the next couple of weeks.
Wow, that's so exciting. So ironically enough, Lauren Hughes, who reached out, is my cousin.
Oh my gosh, I did not know
she's
this.
my cousin. I'm very proud of her. And so she's always, we're doing the in the garden coming up. I think that's in May. So my team basically has a table and they get really into it. And it's really cool that they all come out for that. And my mom too had breast cancer. Fortunately, she succumbed to it when I was a junior in college. But it's truly amazing all the networks that they have out now. It's a very lonely time back then. They didn't have all these support sessions at all. And I felt really bad because I was actually in college the whole time. But, you just amazing how much further people have come. And my aunt had it, but she survived it. And so I also did that 3-day walk. Oh my gosh, that is an amazing walk. If you haven't done it, I highly recommend trying it once in your life. It's definitely well worth it. Your feet hurt. You will lose a few toenails as well, but it's completely worth it. And it's just the stories you hear along the way. Everybody has a story behind it. So kudos to you for taking it off and doing something extra with it.
Yeah,
that's really
it's
cool.
been great. And it's just a testament to all the people in my life too, that's why it's so successful, right? So people that I've met through the business, friends, family, last year we were able to raise $15,000 in the night and, we're looking to do even more this year. So
you go, girl. I love it. I love it. So, see, guys, when you're an entrepreneur, you can do anything out there. And I think the best thing is you just tell the people that say no, just get them out of your way. Okay. And just basically get them off your shoulder and be like, I'm still going for it, and see it moving. Well, this has been amazing, Shana. I can't thank you enough for coming here on the show. And Shadow Her is helping out so many amazing women out like yourself. And we're real excited to see what's up for next and all too. But one last question I always ask.
Sure.
What's the one book you're reading right now?
Oh, one book that I'm reading right now is I'm actually rereading Grit.
Oh,
so that's always something. I feel like sometimes you just got to get back down to the basics. So Grit's always a good one. And I also love Atomic Habits.
Yes.
And so I typically read that every other year just to, get back to the basics.
Yeah.
But then I have been reading, I did just finish a fun, I always read a business book and then like a story at the same time just for balance. That's like now my afternoon.
Good for you.
Get out of work. And I just finished the Fourth Wing series, which is very popular right now. So it's been nice going back and forth between the both.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah.
How do people get a hold of you?
So find me on LinkedIn. I'm active on LinkedIn. So Shana Steigerwalt, or check out our website, Modern Driven Media. We actually just redid it. So I want to drive people to our website now. So moderndrivenmedia.com. But any way I can be of help or any questions anybody has, it's a lonely experience. So if I can, be of assistance to just one person, then it's well worth it.
Well, thank you so much for being here today and sharing your stories. And it's just always inspirational to hear all the things that you're doing. And you're so young, so enjoy it. And you have so much more in front of you. I'm just excited for what's next. So everybody, this is Shadow Her Podcast. I'm Marcia O'Connor, your host for today. And until next time, believe in you because we do. Take care.